So as you may be able to gather from the title, I am going to, I wouldn't really say react, more break down if this video right here is Liberty Falls the worst zombies bonus map of all time. If this video is right or not. Obviously it was made by MrRolfWaffles, absolutely goated zombies YouTuber. I'm not making this as any hate in any shape or form. I absolutely love the content he makes. I think he's been carrying the zombies community on his back recently. You know, going out and actually going to the actual town that Liberty Falls is based off. I personally think with how he does his content, he has put himself unintentionally in a real grey area with the community. And this is why I think some of these points in this video are maybe a little bit biased. In my opinion. Again, I'm not going to react to the whole 33 minutes. It's more just the Liberty Falls section I want to sort of react to and break down and discuss why I think some of these might be a bit unfair and maybe a bit biased. So let's start the video.
So, Liberty Falls, can it compete? Let's start with aura. When I first clapped eyes on Liberty Falls cheeks, what was the first thing I thought? Yeah, the aura's just not there. You see, in the...
I don't agree with this. Already, I don't agree with this. I think he's not being genuine here. I think he's listened to what the community think about the map, and it might have slightly swayed his view into a more negative angle with the aura. With him going to the real place it's based off, I can't think what it's called. I personally think he, at first, attached himself to this map a lot more than he would have maybe Terminus, because he's actually physically been there. And I 100% don't agree at all with this opinion that because we've been watching multiplayer at the COD Next on this fucking multiplayer map, that negatively impacted the view of this current zombies map, Liberty Falls. I don't agree with that. I've actually fucking played that map now on the beta. It's a shit map. I'll be honest, it's a shit map. Everyone just hides in the buildings. You barely see anyone running the streets. And when I was playing it, I was not at all reminded of the fucking map of Liberty Falls one bit. But we'll let him continue.
COD Next stream, we had just been seeing an hour of multiplayer gameplay, and one of those multiplayer maps takes place in the town of Liberty Falls. And so, to switch over to zombies gameplay from watching MP, and for it to still look like the same place...
See, immediately, like, just comparing the two... It's a big difference. The multiplayer map is just one really small strip of this town. As I feel like the Hub Zombies map is going to be like the whole thing. So it's going to be a really small section of a map. And, you know, if you want to be like butthurt about a multiplayer map and a zombies map sharing similarities, fucking hell. Verrückt from World of War, everyone loves that map for its aura and its atmosphere. It's literally a multiplayer map that they repurposed for zombies. Yes, it was the early days of zombies, fair enough. But it's the same thing, and I'm not saying Verrückt's bad, or the aura, quote-unquote aura, I don't like that word, but we'll use it for now, of the map is, I don't know, tainted by the fact that it's got a multiplayer tie. But you could even say the same for Noct. I do agree that they did a lot better creating a very good atmosphere with Verrückt and Noct. And even Dries. because that was also based on a campaign map. I think they did a good job creating its own aura, where I don't think they've done a particularly great job, from what we've seen, translating that into this map. So I get that bit, but even just looking at this, you can tell... I take that back. This is not a great screenshot. It's definitely too clean for a zombies map. I think that's a fair thing to say about it. But it's not unzombies, as everyone seems to keep saying. It's not just a Warzone multiplayer map.
Just didn't give me that zombies feel, man. And everything we've seen of the actual in-game Liberty Falls experience is incredibly weak in this.
This is another point I have. Everything we've seen. For one, Easter eggs are not on the map. For two, we haven't actually played this map. A very select few people have played the map. We have not touched. This could be a completely different map to what we were expecting.
Apartment. It looks way too inspired by what I would describe as the sort of modern warfare aesthetic, maybe, or the multiplayer.
I disagree with that one as well. I feel like the modern warfare aesthetic is extremely clean. It's kind of clean for most parts, but I have a bit of a bias for that because I really don't like Infinity Ward games. Full stop. 2019 was decent with the rebooted Modern Warfare. Even Modern Warfare 3 was decent. MW2 sucked ass and nobody wanted that game. But I do slightly disagree that this just looks like a Modern Warfare game.
Multiplayer or Warzone aesthetic, perhaps, and the stylization and the art direction, the ambience, and the overall zombies aesthetic that we've come to.
Again, we haven't played this map yet. We actually haven't. We don't know what the vibe's gonna be for the whole map. Yeah, it looks a bit, but it could change for one thing, and it could also. The vibe of the map could just be off during COD Next. We don't know.
Experimented with and played with over the years in various different ways, but still stuck true to with the main zombies launch maps. That just feels like it's been obliterated here. Nothing about this screams zombies, and everything about.
I fully disagree with this. It doesn't scream zombies. I just think they've done something different here, and I'm not just trying to dick ride this fucking map. Also, sorry for quality, for some reason, whatever stream he's watching, because I think he was reacting to a COD Next stream. That quality was really bad, and I don't think there was anything he could do about it. But this whole "it's not zombies" is just such a shit argument. There is a perfect example of a game that is similar looking to this, funny enough. And do you know what that game is? It's Dead Rising 3. Yep, Dead Rising 3. A very polarizing game within the Dead Rising community. Some say it's the downfall of the Dead Rising franchise. Others say it's alright. I am in that camp. I say it feels a lot different from Dead Rising, but it still has the core Dead Rising feel. And this map was completely different to the other Dead Risings. Obviously, there's no mall. It's an open world, pretty much. You're stuck in this city, which is very similar in looks, in my opinion, to what Liberty Falls is going to be. It reminds me heavily of Liberty Falls, in fact. Just having shops and even the motel. I think you start at the motel, and that is quite a prominent, I would say, place in Dead Rising 3 as well. You get to interact with the first survivor that's not part of the main cast, and you get your first companion through doing her quest, which is it's quite the it's a big event for that game, I would say. It's the introduction to helping people to get survivors, and it just massively reminds me of Liberty Falls. It's the same sort of thing. The streets, admittedly, are a lot less filled with zombies on a COD game compared to a Dead Rising game. The fucking zombie density in that game for a for a launch game of the original Xbox is really impressive. But they both give off the same vibe. You know, you can go into these shops that you can see. I hope I put some gameplay up to show my point, but it just really reminds me of it. Anyway, got a bit off track, but what I'm saying is, just because it's daytime in a town does not mean it's not zombies. It's just, it's not the same zombies as we are used to. Also, of course, the fucking jet flies over. Of course. There's nothing I can do about it. Advice for people who want to get into like YouTube and stuff and streaming: don't live by a fucking military base or a RAF base as it is over here, because there's just gonna be jets flying over at random times. What even is the time? It's 4:30. It's 4:30 in the afternoon on a random Tuesday, and there's a fucking jet flying over. Let's go back to the video.
It pretty much screams Warzone or maybe Outbreak, but try out.
No, it does not scream Warzone or Outbreak. That's just, again, that is just Milo listening to the community saying those things and sort of agreeing to them.
Themselves criticized Outbreak for not having enough environmental storytelling and not feeling like zombies. Like, it was reused assets, right? So the fact that that's the overall vibe here is really not a great start. Now, maybe the aura will be improved by the Easter egg, right? Maybe we'll get a Shangri-La experience, we'll toggle something, maybe all the normal parts of the map will become Dark Ether-fied, and maybe the one Dark Ether-fied part of the map that's already there, the church, maybe that would toggle back to being normal. Like, that would be really cool. That would feel really like zombies.
I don't see this happening, to be honest. Maybe it will in the Easter egg, but I don't think there's just going to be some Shangri-La-like toggle that will change it. I think the map is the map. Unless they retroactively, after all the feedback, go in and change it themselves, I don't see this happening. It would be nice if, like, it is a bit more gloomy. Just, it doesn't even need to be, like, straight up night, but just take the brightness down a bit, make it a bit more gloomy, a bit more doom and gloom, and maybe that will fix a lot of problems with everyone's perception of this aura of the map
as well. And similarly, if there's a massive underground area that's like 70% of the play space and we just
I don't see this happening, to be honest.
Haven't seen it, and actually that's where all the sort of real zombies environmental storytelling is kind of kept, then hell yeah, dude. That would certainly be completely transformative for the aura. But as things stand, this one is not looking good, Chief. I think it's probably maybe a 1, and the only reason
I think this is bullshit. Giving it a 1 is just bullshit. How can you give a 1 to a map you've not played yet and we've not seen the full thing of? Again, I don't think there's going to be some underground facility that's going to, like, I don't know, massively change everyone's perspective of this map. I don't think that's going to happen. I think for a long time, this map's going to be hated until we get something worse. But to give it a 1 when you haven't even played the game for yourself yet is wild to me.
It's not a 0 is because the intro cutscene is so damn good, and it also...
And saying, oh, the intro cutscene, which everyone got really hyped about, gives it a single point now. I guarantee the Easter egg is going to contain so much interaction with Richtofen.
Does really look like Harper's Ferry and...
Harper's Ferry, thank you. I'm just glad he said that. See, I think this is what it's based off, this town in the background. I think this on its own has its own vibe that does work for zombies. As you can see, I don't know about the foreground on the right over here. I don't even know if my mouse is showing, I have to check. But, like, this feels like such a good idea for zombies because it's just isolated. It's an isolated incident.
real life, which is just cool, but man, this could have been
beans.
so much
The beans,
better. The
Camo.
Easter eggs, you know full well that this is a 10. Like, even if you're a hater of Liberty Falls, the
That's
fact that it's
fair.
got a main quest Easter egg, which technically breaks it out of the criteria of even being a bonus map in the first place, like, that is fantastic. And against all of the other bonus maps that we've evaluated here, none of them are going to be able to compete with a fully fledged main
I
quest.
agree.
And that's not
fair.
even considering all the potential side quests that they've also squeezed in here as well. So no matter what you might think of the aura, for Easter eggs, it does get max points. For story, I think that it's a really difficult one because the intro cutscene is so insane. It's one of the greatest cutscenes we've ever seen in Zombies. And Richtofan's involvement in the Easter egg is sure to be something that people absolutely...
It'll be interesting to see where this has come from if we ever even talk about it. This scar, he definitely didn't have that on the older games.
adore. However,
and I know this is technically a different version of Richtofen, but you know what I mean.
Set crew. And we've talked across all the Black Ops 6 marketing about how a set crew is being reintroduced in this game because Treyarch recognizes it's so important for the story, and without it, you don't really bond with the characters and you don't really feel connected to the map. And so it seems really strange that we're getting a map with no set crew here when Treyarch knows how problematic that is.
I disagree a little bit with this. I don't like not having a set crew at all. I think that is a really dumb decision. But, playing devil's advocate, they did quite a good job on some maps on Cold War, telling the story in a dejected kind of way through the character transmissions, the character radios and stuff, you know, having, like... God, I can't remember any of the names from Cold War. Was there Strauss? Having, you know what I mean anyway, the people chiming in constantly, giving you information about the map and what's going on with the Easter egg and stuff. That isn't the perfect way to do it, but to say that it didn't work in Cold War is kind of false. You know, if you think about Firebase C, you got, you know, the two characters bickering on top of whoever your, like, handler was, quote unquote, on that map, because it changed per game, and that was actually a cool way of doing it. But to say you can't tell a story without a set crew is wrong, because they did it in Cold War, and I think they did it quite well. Especially on a map like Mauer, where you're kind of like... You are really, in Mauer, having a completely different view of stuff, because you're working for the Russians, which is kind of cool. So I don't agree, again, with this fact.
I want to give it a 10 based on the Richtofen stuff, and like a 1 based on no set crew. So I'm going to give it a 6. That might...
To say he wanted to give it a 1 because of no set crew is just... What are you basing a 1 on? I haven't played the map. Oh shit. There was no story in the map that we saw because it was turned off. And he did, to be fair, he did say it might be a bit harsh because it might actually be good. But it will have a main quest, and that main quest 100% going to revolve around Richtofen. There's no question in that. So to say it's a 6, when, again, we don't know what this map's going to be story-wise. You can't judge this because we don't know yet.
Now, that's what I'm going to have to go with. Next is Unique Draw. And honestly, I think the map really suffers here as well, because with all Zombies maps in general over the years, not just bonus maps, there's so frequently such an important draw to the map, pulling you in, making you decide that's the map I want to play today. But honestly, the unique draw of Liberty Falls seems to be that it looks easy, which is...
I can't disagree with any of these points. He spitted on this one. There isn't much of a unique draw outside of, as he said, it easy. And I guess it's going to be a good grind map. Everyone seems to think. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. If you think about it, most games have this. Bro, I remember on the Black Ops 3 launch, like, base Shadows of Evil was ridiculously challenging. Before you were able to hold multiple gate worms at once, even on solo, I think you could only hold one at a time. So you had to do it, go down, place the worms. Oh wait, no, you couldn't do that. Never mind. Maybe on solo you could pick them all. Maybe I'm mistaken there. As I say, I forget what launch was like, but on the fucking like 2, 3, 4 player, it was a bit of a nightmare because you had to have all 4 separately, and if someone was off doing their own shit, oy oy oy. That was not a fun experience, especially if someone didn't really know what was going on. But to contrast that, you had the casual friendly map of the giant. It's just Derice. Everyone knows Derice. So to say that being easy is not a draw, I disagree with, because we've always had that with bonus maps.
Dreadful. Like, there's nothing about the aesthetic, the ambience, the features on the map.
I disagree. Again, we have not played this map yet. We don't know what all the features are in the map. I think there is an elements to this map. I just think it's different to what we're used to, and everyone have an autistic view on if it's different, it's gonna be bad for some reason when it comes to zombies.
That looks especially exciting. There's nothing that looks especially fun. There's nothing that it looks like I could get on Liberty Falls that I can't get elsewhere. It's just sort of bland. It's so vanilla. So unless you're a Harper's Ferry resident and you're really excited about seeing a thematically inspired map, and that would be a unique draw for you, I don't think there's a huge amount else that's going for this, other than like the...
I do think that is a bit of a draw, though. Which, it really confuses me to an extent to why he doesn't view that as more of a draw, because he has actually been there. He's seen this town, and I don't know about anyone else, but like, if I see places in video games that I recognise from real life, that does captivate me a bit. It's like, in GTA, I've not been to LA, but whenever I see like photos of Los Angeles and you compare it to where you've been in GTA, that is like, oh my god, yeah, I know that, I've been there. It's the same for me with football in a way. Whenever I'm a Man United fan, whenever I see Old Trafford in FIFA, I'm always like, damn, this always looks so good. And it does draw me in a little bit. So to say that just because it looks like a place that's not much of a draw, I disagree. And I'm surprised he doesn't view it a bit more like that, being there himself.
Intro cutscene, like, it's bizarre that it doesn't really seem to have a hook, and so I'm gonna have to give this one a 2. Then for Wonder Weapon, it's ping-ponging again all over the place because it actually scores a lot of points, because it has the jet gun returning, which in itself, it's a remake, remastered weapon, so like whatever, but they've improved it by giving it an alt fire and allowing it to be upgraded in new ways, and you can put camos on it now when you upgrade it, and so like all those things combined mean that they have...
I think this is going to be an interesting gun to use. A jet gun that is actually good. It will be interesting to see how they balance it, because in this footage, you can see how quick... Look how quick that's charging. I feel like if they're going to make this be like as balanced as possible, gonna have to do something about that charge time. I think it's a bit too quick. What I would suggest, if it gets to a certain point, as you can see on like the heat over here, if it gets into the red at any point, looking at it, I would imagine it would be like maybe 30 to 20%. This will be considered overheating. If it gets into that area, I think that the cooldown should be much slower, and then if it stays there, it should be quicker, but that's just whatever. This gun looks like it's going to be fun to use, which is just actually good.
A couple of small tweaks, they've actually made some big tweaks and big improvements. And I'm sure there's going to be a quest to get the Wonder Weapon.
But it doesn't look foolproof. If I remember rightly, Dalek actually nearly goes down here.
As well, if you want to do that route. And
yeah, look,
probably also some other sort of hit.
He gets really close from using it, so it's not going to be this overpowered thing, although he is on round 40, so I suppose we'll see when we actually get to replay the map.
Wonder Weapon related stuff on the map, so I think in the Wonder Weapon department it actually scores really solid points. And while I'd prefer something completely unique instead of something returning, I don't think it deserves to be penalized too much for that. So I'm going to give it a category leading 9.
That's
and then
fair.
for gameplay and replayability and maybe high rounds, bro, it's just the most basic looking map I've ever seen. And we've already seen.
Again, all of these problems I have is the fact that we have not played this yet. A very select few number of people have played it. That's what this is going to be like to play. You know, it could be that this could become the more replayable map, and it probably will be, to be honest, compared to Terminus, because I actually think Terminus looks like it's going to be a lot more challenging. You know, it's weird that people are like complaining, oh, it's a 14 hit down, oh no, as if this same problem's not going to be there with Terminus. It's just this map looks easier than Terminus, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Again, if it's easier than Terminus, it's a good thing, because you can have the two. They can both exist. They don't both have to be ball-crushing, hard maps. You can have both.
People go to round 50 on it, and it kind of looked bland. Like, I'm not sure that I would want to go to round 50 more than once on this map ever, because
well, lucky for you, you don't have to.
I mean, why would you? Like, I've already seen 3 people do it, and it just looked like generic. You just sort of run around. You can basically hoard anywhere because it's so open. You just shoot your ray gun or whatever, and you're kind of finished. It really doesn't look appetizing. It doesn't look like a good challenge. It doesn't look like something that I would grind to try and get better at it, or to challenge myself. It just sort of looks mindless, which some people like for camo grinding, but I don't think that that's how we should be ranking our replayability factor. Like, what map do you...
It kind of is, though. Because it's got to be the one people are replaying the most. So, it has replayability. Is that not the definition of it is? What are people going to replay the most? The most replayable maps will be the ones that people find the easier ones because they can do more in one sitting. I massively disagree with this, and I can't remember what he gives it, but I know for a fact it's going to be too low.
Turn your brain off to play. I don't think that's what we're ranking here as we evaluate the art presented to us by the Call of Duty team. So for replayability, I'm going to kind of take a safe in the middle pick here and go
5.
for 4.
4 for gameplay. I can't believe it. I don't know how you can say it's a 4 when you've just pointed out it's probably going to replayed map because of people that like the camo grind. Depending on how this DLC season, quote unquote DLC season, turns out, this could be the most played map in the game. For all of everyone's bitching and complaining, warranted or not, this could be the most played map in the game because it could be the easiest. It could be the most replayable. To give it a 4 based on replayability, I don't understand. I don't know what he's ranking there.
But if you're a camo grinder, maybe it's a bit higher. So it's time for final scores. Liberty Falls, according to what I've seen, and obviously I could be mistaken because there could be stuff that I haven't seen yet that changes how I would rank it, right? But according to what I've seen, it lands on a final points total of 32.
Which is apparently... makes it the second worst bonus launch map of all time. And I'm gonna through this, right? I don't think the BO1 remasters, which is just the World at War, deserve to be here, because it's literally comparing an entire game to one map. Don't think that's fair. Transit slices, right? Bear in mind, and I am talking for majority of the community, nobody likes the transit slices. That's farm, that's bus depot, and that's town, and diner if you count that. No one likes playing those maps except town, unless you're a mad cunt who likes playing difficult shit and tries to go for high rounds on farm and bus depot. To give them an aura of 10, when you're giving this a 1 is just so unfair. Because apart from town, I don't think. Actually, no. I was gonna say I don't think any of them have any quote aura, but I would say farm actually, I would say has the best aura because it is just a really abandoned, dark place. But to give it a 10 on aura, unreal. Easter egg makes sense. Story. So you're saying that Liberty Falls, that's going to have a main story, a main Easter egg, and has a massive character like Richtofen, gets a 6, the exact same as Nuketown, that, mind you, does not add much story. What do you get from Nuketown's story? You get quotes we've already heard from Moon coming through. The story of the map is that it's happening at the same time as Moon. And there are Easter eggs where you can hear Martin in the I said in the bungalow, in the bunker. You can hear the town, not the town, the bus from Transit in the distance, and there's an Easter egg song. But because it's got Moon's story, pretty much slices of Moon's story, that gets it on par with something that you've already said is going to have a main Easter egg, just like Classified, so it gets an automatic 10. I don't agree. Unique Draw, again, I agree with this one the most, but I still think 2 is a little bit unfair, because it is still something brand new that we have not played yet. Compared to the Giant and the BO1 remasters, they got a 7 and a 3. This is the third iteration of this map, and it got a 3, and it's deserved a 3. This is the second iteration of all of the maps, and it got a 7. Wonder Weapon 9, again, I agree. Gameplay, I massively disagree. 6 at the most. I'd say it's more replayable than 2 of the 3 maps that are on this one. I would say it's more replayable than 5 because of how challenging of a map 5 is. The same goes for Nuketown. People don't like this map, by the way. People absolutely fucking hate this map because it's RNG heavy. I love the map. I love RNG. I am a fucking massive roguelike nerd. I think this map is great. I think it's in my opinion, this should be here. Even though I really went in on it, I really like the randomness of this map. And yet it's got a 5. It's not that. It is replayable if you like that sort of thing, but most of the community don't because they don't like the randomness of the perks, so it doesn't have that much replayability. To say it's got more replayability than Liberty Falls, which is easily going to be the more replayable map of all of them, is wild. Classified. I don't think Black Ops 4 is that replayable in general, unless you really like Black Ops 4's systems. So to give it more, again, And the Black Ops 1 remasters, I suppose it is 4 maps, and they're all good maps. So yeah, alright, fair. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through what I think and give my own scores. I disagree massively with this. So I would give this for Aura probably a 4. Easter eggs, I agree. Story, I don't know how you rank it, but I wouldn't rank it the same as Nuketown, that's for sure. So based on that, probably a 7. Unique Draw, it's a complete brand new map, but it is kind of a... Without playing it properly, with everything turned on, I don't know how to rank it. I can't give it a 2. That seems too low. To say it's got less draw than a remastered Doris, I can't. So it has to be a 3 at least. Wonder Weapon 9, fair. I might... nah, because I was going to say I'd mark it down to an 8, but it is sort of its own thing. this thunder gun, this jet gun is a whole new beast. And to gameplay again, to say it's less replayable than the transit slices or Nuketown or Nuketown or 5. The Giant, I agree. Classified, again, it depends. And the Black Ops 1 remasters, I agree. To say it's got less than all of these, disagree completely. I would give this an 8. I would give it an 8. Based on what I would give all of it, it would be a 43, which would put it above Classified. Because at the end of the day, I gave this a 7. I might say maybe it's a 6. Just because we haven't played it yet, so it's really hard to judge the story. But I do think it will have more story than Nuketown, so I don't know, maybe I would stick with a 6. But either way, to say that it's worse than 5 Nuketown and only just better than the transit slices is just wild to me. It's just wild. And that's where I think he's gone wrong in this video. And I think that I feel like MrRolfWaffles, bless him, has kind of put himself in a real grey area when it comes to the zombies community in general. Because at one hand, you know, he's kind of our spokesperson in a way. He is the only YouTuber that we have on this platform that actually speaks for us. You know, he's already said it himself that just because he's been to the reveal event for Terminus does not mean it's gonna skew his opinions on the game, and I don't think it should. I don't think any YouTuber should be skewing their opinions of a game or a map just because they're going to get special treatment from Activision and Treyarch. I think that's bullshit. Call out the problems in the games that we play. You are our spokespersons. You have the biggest voice in the community. We may be the majority of the community, but our voices are just in an endless ocean. You know, we are the feeder fish. We are the ones that are caught by the bait of the games, whereas you are the sharks. You're the big dogs. You're the ones that are going around. The people throwing out the bait, unless they're trying to catch you specifically, don't really want to see. And yet, rather than intimidating, well, not intimidating, but making them think twice about the bait they're throwing out with these games, you just accept the bait and continue on as if you're one of us. Which, in a way, you are. At the end of the day, we all love this community. We all love these games. We all want them to be better. And that's the thing. Because you're getting special treatment, you don't talk about the bad in this franchise. Because you don't want to lose out on those exclusives. You don't want to lose out on being sent to events and stuff. So, with that being said, I think Milo is in a very difficult and unique situation where he wants to be very honest with his fans on his opinions and stuff on a game, which is absolutely great. But at the same time, I feel like he can't be completely real in the complete opposite direction. I think he's trying to appease the masses so much because he thinks it's the right thing to do that he's letting his own opinions get skewed a bit. Because I remember when I was watching the video he uploaded of the stream that he watched from the COD Next, at first he seemed really shocked by his chat saying it looks bad. I might be wrong about that actually. Let me check quick. Let's pull it up quick. Alright, never mind. I was wrong. He actually did call that out straight away. Fair enough, I was wrong. I I can admit when I was wrong there. I still shit, that didn't go well. I still think he kind of skewed. I think this is less to do with the map and it's more to do with Treyarch. I think the way they have gone about doing the COD Next stuff has sort of fucked this map's identity. Showing off an hour of the Liberty Falls multiplayer map to then go into the Zombies Liberty Falls map was not a great move. And I think that has really fucked over the perception of this map. But I do still think Milo is in a difficult position, really saying what he truly thinks. I could be completely wrong about this, by the way, and I'll be happy to admit if I am. If he somehow by miracle sees this video and, says, like, no, I really do feel this way about the map, then I'll be like, fair enough. Fair enough, I was wrong. But to me, as an outsider looking in, it really seems like he's just trying to gauge what the community thinks and go with that, just to keep this perception of he's going to stay real with the fans, which is a noble thing, don't get me wrong. As I said, I would prefer a YouTuber trying to be real for the community's sake, rather than, the fake smiles and the happy-go-lucky sort of, oh, I got invited to COD Next, so I've got to be really positive sort of feel that a lot of other creators got. Because I don't think I've ever heard any of the other, like, YouTubers that went to the event, I don't think I've heard them talk about the map at all. In any context. I'm sure they absolutely love their time at COD Next. I'm sure they love playing the map. And yet, I haven't heard them talk about it much. Admittedly, I haven't gone looking. I really only, at the minute, I'm only watching MrRolfWaffles when it comes to Black Ops 6, because I think, as I said, he's been carrying it on his back, doing the absolute most. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to preface this by saying I don't intend this video to be a hate piece on MrRolfWaffles. I genuinely do think he has been the GOAT of the zombies community now for a long time, staying out of drama as much as possible, making very informative and good videos like he's always done, doing unique stuff like you don't see anyone else bring out a fucking whiteboard for a zombies fucking video. I think he's doing great stuff. I want to make sure that it's known that I'm not doing this to hate. I just don't agree with some of his points, and that's okay. People can disagree with people and still love them. So, yes, nothing against him personally at all. I just think the video was a bit bullshit. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Also, the gameplay you saw was captured on my Twitch, twitch.tv/muntpunt. I think that's the URL. Go follow me. I just stream regularly enough that, just coming over and saying hi would be really appreciated. Yeah. Goodbye.